All right. You asked for it, and I'm giving it to you. This is the superlative, definitive, unquestionable tier list for Blood in the Clock Tower Trouble Brewing rolls, as seen from the perspective of a storyteller. How fun are these rolls to add to the bag? So we're going to start with the Travelers because they are the least. You don't plan to have Travelers in the bag. So these are ranked by the most fun to have in there. Gunslinger can shut a game down real fast. If you're trying to speed up a game, Gunslinger does that. Gets you to final three quick. If the town's looking too strong, make them evil. If the town's looking really weak, make them good. Either way, they're probably going to get you to the end fast. And you might lose the demon because of it, which is a risk. Thief, second, A tier. It's fun to have the hijinks of someone who can manipulate the votes a little bit, and having a negative vote, which basically makes a change of 2 votes, can be a surprise early on. It's very rare that it would be a final three kind of situation. They just get exiled. Bureaucrat, especially with Thief, is hilarious, but all by itself, very strong for whichever team it's on. Very, very strong for the evil team to get a surprise nomination on the board that cannot be lifted at certain rates. Certain points. So that's probably the most impactful. That's why it's like in the middle there, because you got to be careful with adding the bureaucrat. Scapegoat. The scapegoat will unfortunately always be seen as evil and always be exiled day 2 or so. I would say if you're going to put the scapegoat in there, make them good and exile them the first day, just for fun. Like just give them something, because otherwise they're never going to do anything. And beggar, I would never add a beggar to a game voluntarily. The idea of forcing a player to have to encourage other players to quit playing the game to be able to engage themselves, I don't like that. Maybe I'm just misunderstanding the role because I've never actually used it, but it seems to just feel bad for everyone involved. So now we're building it back. That's just the miscellaneous stuff. What about the actual rules? Well, first of all, you have the demon. Uh, Demon, great guy, really cool. You should really have a demon in your starting bag when you're playing Trouble Brewing. If you don't, the game ends night 1, which that's fine. If you want to do it, you can. But I believe the setup requires you to have a demon in every situation. So just put it in there. It's going to be very impactful for the game because it kills people. And if it kills enough people, the evil team wins. And that's kind of the point of the evil team, is to win. The good team also wants to win, but the evil team wants to win more. Keep that in mind. Next up, we have the minions. So which of these minions are the most fun to put in the bag? So the thing is, I'm going to actually do this in groupings. Let's put in the Scarlet Woman. Scarlet Woman, I did not like at first because the Scarlet Woman does not do much, but I think the Scarlet Woman is such a good insurance for the demon to be able to make plays and to be able to make mistakes. And also to just play up something. If the demon has a strategy, a lot of the times the strategy to win the game is to make themselves be executable or sacrificed in order to make the Scarlet Woman or another demon look, or another minion rather, look better. So I think they're one of the best helpers, even though they don't really do much. Because of that, whenever I add the Scarlet Woman, I will usually also add the Slayer. The Slayer, C, B, 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 B. Slayer ends games, and it's very dramatic. It's always fun when it happens. Everyone feels like a hero, or everyone's great. The evil team's like, oh my gosh, but it's fun. So Slayer, great role. You get one thing to do, and if you mess up, you'll never know why it didn't happen. Was it because you aimed wrong? Was it because you're the drunk? Because you're poisoned? You'll never know. But when it works, it's a great feeling. The Recluse, S tier. The Recluse messes up the Slayer. It can also help prove the Slayer. The Recluse helps or hurts the evil team in a lot of different ways, usually not by actually helping them, but at least in like confirming a player exists or doesn't exist. When a fortune teller gets a yes the first night and they check with someone and that person says, oh, I'm the recluse, the fortune teller can be pretty sure they're not the drunk. That's actually really dangerous for the storyteller to make the recluse always trigger when it can. And that happens with the fortune teller, chef, all these other things. You don't always have to make the recluse look evil. But when you can, and it helps confuse the good team or give the evil team a bit of a advantage, especially in the beginning game, you absolutely should. And if you get to the point where like, oh, all these other failsafes haven't worked and evil stomping and the Slayer shoots the recluse, that's fine to kill the recluse because at least you've confirmed the Slayer. That's one good player that you now have that you can trust for the rest of the good team. So it's a very handy tool that usually hurts the team but can be used by storytellers to help the team. So super S tier. In the same regard, I'm going to put the spy up here. It's the exact same thing in reverse. Um, the amount of hijinks you can do when you have a spy or a recluse in the game is unlimited. It's limited only by your own creativity. Every single role can be affected by these two roles for good or for evil. And you should always use them to the full advantage because they don't really do anything, but they know that, well, I mean, the spy sees everything, but they don't really do anything to the game other than know that they might be interfering with other people's abilities. Um, so, which abilities are they interfering with? Chef. I think the chef, let's see, I've won the game a lot of times with the chef. It can be really dangerous to put this in the bag. I'm actually much more reluctant to put it in there than I used to be. It used to be like the starting thing because it's like, oh, it could be a 0. But I've had enough 2s with a Typhon line of, a demon and 2 minions that it's it's I'm more wary now, especially if there's no outsiders, so you can't make them the drunk. So chef's right in the B. It's fun. It's good. It's a really good starting piece of information that people can pick at and kind of build around, but it can be too dangerous to add in. And for the same reason, investigator. Actually, so investigator, um, I like. I used to hate putting it in the bag. I like putting the investigator in the bag now, um, because of all the things. You just have to plan ahead for it. With the investigator in the bag, you also add the recluse, and you just make sure that if there's you have to know what you're going to be showing the investigator either way. If you're hoping that you put in an investigator and you just hope the poisoner gets it, or you're going to make someone else the drunk, you're basically removing an evil player from the game very quickly. So if you're going to put the investigator in, just make sure you have some way to explain their information that allows the evil team to explain that, or something like that. So that's where the recluse comes in. Let's see here. Butler. Butler is Butler is not so much fun to put in the game. It is a lot of fun. I feel like the Butler is like the social recluse. The Butler always ends up getting executed. Playing a Butler is a lot of fun. Pretending to be a Butler, lots and lots of fun. Actually having a Butler kind of feels bad. It's usually the last. Butler basically means there's a Baron in the game with 2 base outsiders. That's usually what it means. So it is fun to put in there as the only outsider, depending on what else you put in there. But I generally don't feel excited about putting it in the bag when I could put in other things instead. Librarian. Um, this is kind of similar to Investigator, but not as bad. This is usually uh, I'm going to put both the Librarian and the Washerwoman together because I try not to put more than one into any bag, but I will usually put one in. And the Librarian and the Washerwoman to me usually reads, you are the drunk or you see the spy. It almost always ends up being that in my things, and maybe I need to just become better. It's just so hard to confirm any starting role with a Washerwoman because I really don't like it when people know that this person's the mayor or whatever because it brings attention to the role, but it also always ends up that person being executed day 2 because they might be the spy who registered as it. So you can do it if you want. Sometimes having a washerwoman to see a role that you think might be, suspicious later, sure. Librarian, being the drunk that sees the drunk, is classic, and nobody should ever stop doing that. Because it's always fun. And it's kind of like the investigator seeing the poisoner. You never know if you're seeing the poisoner or if you were poisoned and that's why. You never know if you're the drunk or seeing 2 people who might be the drunk or if one of them is actually the drunk or if you're poisoned. So that's always fun. Virgin, I usually put in the bag. It's actually a trap for the good team to rely on the Virgin to work, and also once it works to rely on the Virgin to understand what's happening and to make good choices. So it can be nice to have that one confirmed player, but the trick is once they have it, what are they going to do with it? And you'll usually have the Virgin get all the information and then not be able to parse together what to do with it and make bad choices, and then the whole town follows them. And the evil team can rely on that. So, with the Virgin in the bag, it's great. It's kind of like the Slayer. Something happens. We know something now, and that can rally the good players, but it's not necessarily helping the good team to have it in there. So I think that's great. Let's see here. Mayor. Let's go with the soldier. So the soldier actually has the highest win rate of all the roles I put in the bag. If a soldier is actually in the bag as a townsfolk, the town has a much higher chance of winning than if it's not, more than any other townsfolk role, which I find very interesting because it's a very boring role, both to have and also to um, play as. I think the best thing you can do if you want to give the good team a starting lead is you have the washerwoman see the soldier in a very fragile role like the fortune teller or the undertaker, and you have them the washerwoman have the capability of actually arranging for the soldier and them to roll swap, which usually if the soldier is being asked first, they might see who the washerwoman talks to next and then just figure it out that way and do it anyways. It's a thing, but other than that, it's hard to be the soldier. I just see the soldier get executed a lot towards the end of the game, but I guess demons get executed a lot also when they claim it. I'm not sure. I don't like it. That's basically what it is. It's like all the other roles, but it also like stops other people from being able to play the game too. I think everyone agrees Poisoner is just one of the best roles in the game. The ability to disrupt things constantly through the whole game is very hard to beat as far as the usefulness that it is to the storyteller. Now, obviously, you get amazing night one snipes with the Poisoner, and sometimes the Poisoner just doesn't do anything, but having the flexibility that the Poisoner gives the storyteller to help or hurt the evil team as necessary is great. And you never use a Poisoner to hurt the evil team, but you can use the Poisoner to misdirect someone, giving them false information that if they're a good player, they can then realize, oh, I was poisoned, and this is very obvious to me, so I know there's a poisoner in the game, that kind of a thing. Mayor is in there. The mayor does get added to the bag when I think that there's enough information rolls, and it kind of becomes a crapshoot to see, is the mayor in the final three? Usually not. I think I've had the mayor in 8 games that I've run, and it was only in the final 3 twice, but they did win both times. Fortune teller, it's just like the base starting information roll. It's just what the town usually uses to find the evil team. So putting it in the bag will hurt the evil team. You have got to have preparations. You've got to have the recluse in there. If you're going to add in the fortune teller, you should have the poisoner, because they'll find the demon the first night. You have got to have some way of showing that, for them to believe that there is misinformation for the fortune teller to be in the game. It's fine to not, but you really should. Especially in larger games, it's not as dangerous, but when you have like 9 or less players and you have a fortune teller and you don't have any way for that information to be false, you're condemning the evil team, unless you have a Scarlet Woman. Undertaker it's great. It's hard to play as. It's an exciting role. They usually get called out and killed very quickly before they can really see anything. They're usually one of the first ones killed by the spy. The absolute confirmation of what people are is fantastic for the good team, and it's good to have at least one of the fortune teller and the undertaker in there. I won't usually put 2 in there unless it's a bigger game, but one of them, yeah, good. Ravenkeeper, I love Ravenkeeper. I love putting Ravenkeeper in the bag. It is a trap for the evil team. It's also a trap for the good team. It's hard for the Ravenkeeper to get killed at night if they don't know what they're doing, but a good player who knows how to bluff correctly and get someone to support them can get killed and can prove one person. Kind of like an Undertaker. So not as strong as an Undertaker, but I think it's fun. It's fun to put in the bag. It may not be as helpful as an Undertaker, which is why I have it ranked higher as a storyteller, but it's a good role. The drunk, whenever I can, I put a drunk in. Honestly, I probably shouldn't put in as much as I want, but you throw out the bag, whatever you have, you just leave one outsider out. You see what is the most dangerous thing for the evil team. That player is now the drunk. If you're not doing that, if you want to make things harder for the evil team, you can. And like there is a trick, like if the empath is sitting next to the demon, you really want to make the empath the drunk and show them a 0. But sometimes it's fun to show the empath the drunk when they're on the other side of the grim and they're never going to see evil. Make them the drunk and show them a 1 just kind of give them a little bit suspicion on that side of the board. Like, you don't have to just protect the evil team. You also want to put fake information out there that incriminates other people. So drunk undertaker, drunk fortune teller, drunk empath, those are the top three. But also drunk chef, drunk mayor, super dangerous. But again, the librarian does the same thing without actually having to have a drunk. Because they just see a drunk. So making a drunk librarian can make two players consider whether they're drunk or not. Excellent value. Next up, the monk. I always feel bad for the monk. They're always dead halfway through the game. They have a 6% survival rating. The washerwoman has a 6% survival rating too, but they get themselves executed day one almost every game. And that's fine. It's nice to be the person who knows, I'm going to give you my information and then I'm out. Peace. The monk wants to stay alive and they can't. They never will be. If they stay alive past day 3, they just get executed for being evil because they're alive. So it's rough. It's the same thing with the soldier. Both of them prevent the evil from making a kill, which is fine. That's totally fine to prevent kills, but it is hard to play as, and I just feel bad adding too much of that into the game. The mayor kind of does the same thing where you can bounce it. You can bounce it into an evil player because it's a good ability. You can just kill evil players if good stomping, but the poisoner turns it off. Everything is really nice that way. And then we get to the final 3. We've got the empath. Empath it's good. I like the empath. The flexibility of it being poisoned or drunk, being next to the recluse, being next to the spy, it's great. The empath can do so much for either side of the game, depending on what it's allowed to be. The saint, I don't actually like adding the saint. I think the saint is such a fun bluff for the evil team that you can add it in and it's great. Oh, we can't execute this player. Are they real or not? It's totally fine. But I think it's more fun to actually have it be the risk that someone claims it. So leave it out and hope, for the best. And the Baron always goes in. There's no reason to ever not have a Baron. I know people are like, oh, it doesn't poison, it doesn't have information like the spy, it doesn't have the protection backup like the Scarlet Woman. But when you're the Baron, whoever has that Baron is basically a mini storyteller. They do whatever the hell they want to mess up the game. So they're going to find out who the Virgin is. They're going to counterclaim the Virgin. They're going to counterclaim the Saint. They're going to claim to be the mayor and really push for it because they just have no responsibilities. So they are completely free to be a little mischief gremlin for the entire game. In fact, I should just move all these down and just have the Baron as S tier and just have everything else on A tier. But yeah, that's it. If you're a storyteller and you want to have a good game, this is what you should do to do that. And if you do, you'll be really cool, and everyone's going to be like, wow, I want to be in your game. And then you'll become the president of the United States.